Good afternoon and welcome back to Growing with Mags. I thought I'd do a little video today and take you around my vegetable growing areas because it's early March and things are only just starting off here in West Wales. We live in a very wet and windy area, so I never rush. As I've said before in one or two other videos. So I just thought I'd take you around the plots now and show you what's what. If you've been a follower of mine for the last 12 months, you will have seen all this before, but for the newbies on YouTube, this is the plot. So I've got two old greenhouses which are pretty old. I've had them about 25-30 years and they're still going strong. So that first one, we tend to grow the seeds, sow the seeds and that, and the second one, it tends to end up with tomatoes and cucumbers and that sort of thing, peppers, anything that needs to be kept inside. I grow an awful lot in pots and troughs, all of which are pretty much tidied away at the moment, but they will appear as time goes on. That's an old water butt from a let's see that goes in the loft. I came across that last year, so son-in-law put some holes in the bottom, and last year we grew carrots in it, and now we've got some garlic going in there. So there's another trough of garlic. The coal frame is I've got two coal frames, and I sorted them out and put the good stuff in here. Obviously threw some stuff away, but these are all coming on quite nicely. So they get opened up every day and then closed up again at night. I've had a bit of a tidy up around this area and made a big bench because getting on a bit, and I don't want to keep bending low down, so that's just made of pallets and covered to make it look tidy. There's the old shed that everything happens in the shed, so that's where I keep all my pots and trays, a chair in case I get a chance to sit down, and bags of perlite and stuff like that. I also keep my bird food in here, so I like to feed the birds every day. So that's the top sort of growing area. Up here I've got a tap for washing stuff and a table for working on. And this is the original bed. We call this Bob's bed because he made it several years ago for me. This is the original vegetable bed, so needs a bit of work now, but that won't take long to tidy that up. It's just a few weeds on there, and I can easily get those out without too much trouble. More garlic. These troughs here, I did have some raspberries in that one, but they haven't done very well for the last few years, so I've got them out now, and I'm going to use these two for carrots and parsnips, because carrots and parsnips like a nice fine tilth to grow in, and I find that they grow much better in a trough than actually in any of the beds. So I'll take you down the garden now. We're pretty spread out. It's just the way that the garden has evolved. This here was an old pond, so hence we called it the old pond, and it's been covered since about October last year, and last year we grew sweet corn in there. But by the end of the season, it's absolutely full of perennial weeds, deep-rooted weeds. So I covered it, and I'm hoping to get that cover off very soon now and see, what's happened underneath. A little blue tit on the tree there. So at the bottom here, this is called the bottom garden. I'll just step back a little bit. and show you this. So this part of the garden is predominantly trees. There's no flower beds or anything in here. It's got a path curling round, which does tend to get a bit weedy, but there we go, that's life. So this is the bottom garden, and basically it was created 20 years ago from scratch with a digger in, and we just planted everything down the sides and in the middle, and I've added trees as time's gone on. I've added trees and bushes around the path, so that's a bit more interesting a bit later on. It's in its winters, it's got its winter coat on at the moment, so not terribly exciting. That tree there in front of you is beautiful in the spring. It's a cherry tree and is absolutely lovely. So going back up now, we've got the whole plot is 6 acres, and we do keep a couple of ponies. So I've been here for 30 something years, and in that time we've had horses and ponies, and then we didn't have any feet for a good few years, but now we've got them again for the grandchildren. So that's one of the paddocks. That's another view of the bottom bed, and that's a long grass and a bonfire. We always have a bonfire on the go. The long grass, we like to keep certain parts of the garden fairly wild to encourage the wildlife and look after the bees and the butterflies. So that's the one wild part, and there's another wild part further over which I doubt you can see from here. Right, so we're coming now to the second part of the garden, and this is a raspberry bed because it grows the raspberries. So at the moment the raspberries need a little bit of attention just to set them off for spring, so they need a little bit of cutting back on the, I've got two types here, early raspberries and later ones, and these later ones need cutting back down to the ground. I shall part the wood chips and top dress with some ericaceous compost because raspberries like a bit of an acid soil. So I'll do that and give them a good feed, and then that'll get them ready for spring. And then the lower part of this bed is what we call the scarecrow bed, and this is bed number 3, and this is going to have brassicas planted in it. There are a few in it now which have been overwintering, but normally I would move things around, but this is the best way I can do it now, because on this side, this lot is all new. Because 2020 was such a terrible year and we were home so much, I decided late on in the summer to get these, well, first of all to get the fence put up, because the wind blows across here like nothing on earth. So we had the fence put up and then the beds made. So they weren't ready to do anything with late on, but now I've got them all ready for starting off very soon. But again, the soil is, I mean, it looks quite good, but it's actually quite wet and sticky, so I wouldn't want to be planting anything in it yet and growing straight from seed. But along here, this bed is going to be, this is the paddock bed, and this is going to be predominantly legumes, so peas, runner beans, French beans, sweet corn. Plus I'm going to keep one of the sections, I'm going to grow cut flowers. I like to grow some dahlias and I'm going to grow some cut flowers from seed. So that's the new bed. This one, the scarecrow bed, we need a new scarecrow because poor thing's kind of had it, but he's been stood there for a couple of years, so we've pulled him out, and hopefully the children are going to help to make a new scarecrow bed, new scarecrow. So as I say, that's going to have the brassicas in, and that's bed number 3. So we have another that's empty at the moment, and I'm going to get that box removed up to the top of the garden because it's too shaded down here. That is my compost heap. Whoa, it looks terrible, doesn't it? But that's going to have a pile of chicken manure and some straw put on it this weekend, so that should heat it up, and then I've transferred it already from this bed to that one. So once the straw and the chicken manure have got going, then I'll transfer it back. So keep turning it, get the air into it. But it's not really heated up as I would have liked, but I haven't actually got a cover on it, so that's why. The beds, I'm going to try and go for no dig beds, but this does take some time. I've already spent a small fortune on compost, plus I've used all the compost that I've got from, you know, any of my growing pots. That's all winter has been going on these beds. So I've now obviously got to make my own compost. Also down here I'm planning to put a small water butt, I would like to encourage frogs if I can, because the frogs will eat some of the slugs, and that's the plan. So frogs or toads, if there's any in the area, please make your next stop up here. I've got a couple of water butts, water sort of features, all made from various odds and ends that we've picked up, and got them. I've got one in my patio area which I'm not going to show you at the moment. I'll show you that another time. But so that's the veg beds, and I just wanted you to see them as they are in the raw with nothing in at this moment in time, and then as we develop and as we get plants grown on and able to put out, you'll know what I'm talking about or what I'm referring to. So if you've enjoyed this little video and you're watching on YouTube, if you could give me a thumbs up and subscribe, then you won't miss my next videos. The next one will be probably on pricking out some seedlings and sowing more seeds. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and have a nice day. Bye bye.